Here we go.
All right, welcome into Before Floor, an extension of 5 on the Floor here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, sponsored in part, you just saw the ad, by Biscayne Bay Brewing. This is the Pale Ale. Check out the IPA. And, of course, the Marlins Lager. We're launching Marlins on Tap. Alejandro knows all about that. That's going to be launching this Wednesday with Biscayne Bay Brewing Company, sponsored by them. So we'll be drinking a lot of Marlins Lager there. Bring it to us. Also sponsored by Insurance by Lynette.com. That's our friend Lynette, who is a frequent commenter here. If you're looking for any type of insurance, there she is, 954-581-8800. That's 954-581-8800. Any type of insurance, she can help you, but she can particularly help you if you have a bad driving record. So make sure that you reach out to her. She can help you get car insurance. Nobody will be turned away. Again, it's Insurance by Lynette. There's 2 N's in there. This is the Aggressive Insurance Agency. Follow them at Aggressive INS on Twitter. Again, 954-581-8800. All right, let's get back to Before Floor. A little bit of a different crew tonight. Greg Sylvander has the night off. We had a couple of guys, Jonathan and I think Ricky, who were dealing with South Florida
Ricky
traffic
was
right now.
just
At least
scared
Ricky
because
is.
the Knicks are actually playing tonight, so he didn't want to.
Right. He didn't want to be called out. So we've got Brady Hawk. You know him, Brady Hawk 305. Marco Romo. He had to add a little ampersand or whatever the heck that is under his Twitter handle because he's recently been re-released into the wild by Twitter. Also, you can check out the Know Your Enemy segment on the Knicks today. The Knicks, yes, they are named after pants. All right, let's get right to it today. Nothing really new from reporting other than me posting the fact that the Heat are in on Dewayne Dedmon, or at least they've been monitoring him. I don't think this is a big surprise. We mentioned his name before. He's coming off an ankle injury last with Atlanta. I actually remember being in Orlando when Dewayne Dedmon was on the Heat Summer League team and talking to Spoelstra about him then. They liked him then. This is 8 years ago. He's averages about 12 rebounds per 36 minutes. People say he's a stretch player. Not really so much. He was shooting about 33% from 3 on low volume. The last 2 years, 20% on higher volume. So I don't think that's why you'd be getting him. I think you'd be getting him basically because you need another rebounder. Again, nothing official. Don't run off. All I said is that they're monitoring it. That's it. Okay? So Brady writes an article about him. I don't want everybody to get mad at Brady if he doesn't come or mad at Sylvander just because he's associated with us. Let's get to tonight, though. The big news, Brady, other than the fact that Avery Bradley is miraculously healed in Houston after 3 months, he's playing tonight. Goran Dragic back for the Heat tonight.
Yeah, he's back. And I think the question becomes with Kendrick Nunn out, where do they go with him right away? And I pretty much said that I expect them to go the Gabe Vincent route. I think that makes the most sense. Tyler Hero, they don't seem to want to change his role no matter what's been the circumstance. If the shooting guard's been out, they've kept him down there. So now if the point guard's out, I don't expect him to rush Goran right back into a starting role that's not really his role. So I do think Gabe Vincent starts, but it's going to be pretty important to get Goran. They still don't have, obviously, Oladipo, so they still need that attacker that they've been missing. And, even if he's a little, coming back slow at times, they can still utilize him getting downhill.
Ben, always with the best comments. You're watching there, Dragic, not just Dragic, but the new White Lightning there, Bjelica shooting. By the way, let's all try to say this. You ready? Pronounce it correctly. Marco, you go first. Alejandro, you're second on this. Pronounce it correctly. We're not going to get this wrong.
Nemanja Bjelica.
That's excellent. Alejandro, your turn with a little bit of a Spanish flair here.
Nemanja Bjelica.
Okay, Brady?
Belly. That's what everybody's going to call him.
I like
Professor
Bjelica,
Big Shot.
That's what I'm going with. There you go. Professor Big Shot, some people are going with here. Marco, let's get to this because Olynyk played really well the other night in Houston. I don't think that's a big surprise. To what end? I don't know. Houston's not going anywhere. What can Bjelica, Belly, whatever you want to call him, replicate that Olynyk did for the Heat?
In terms of replicate, it's giving them a spacer pretty much. Teams guard him like a shooter. He is a shooter though. Like he's having a down year, but I can attribute that to maybe like just being on the Kings for 1 year too many. And I think people will defend him like a shooter, which is what they did with Kelly, even though he shot pretty bad himself from 3. So you're going to get that same spacer out there. Bjelica's a better off the dribble guy, considering Kelly has the balance of like a baby giraffe. Nemanja has way better balance, and like he could actually take a couple dribbles. Like if you close out hard on him, he can dribble drive inside. He's not the same kind of handoff guy like Kelly is, but maybe that's because he hasn't been in a system that plays handoffs like that.
All right. Well, that's Baby Giraffe. That's the nickname here. We'll call him the Baby Giraffe. No Oladipo tonight. Of course, comes to Miami, immediately gets a head cold. There are some, I don't have any information on this, that are skeptical of the whole head cold thing. I saw this going on Twitter. Maybe they just want to evaluate his knee a little bit longer. I don't know. It's kind of a creative thing there. I anticipate, though, that we probably won't see Oladipo until Thursday at the earliest. I think probably the soonest we would see him is Thursday night against Golden State. I'm with you, Brady, that Gabe Vincent probably starts tonight. Ariza at the 4? Is that the direction that they go?
That's what I would think. I wouldn't be surprised if, down the line, if they, once Bjelica gets, into the system a bit more, I could see them plugging him into there. But in his first game, I don't expect him starting right away. I don't think Spoelstra's really, into that type of thing. I think he likes to get players in slowly, with also throwing him into the fire when it matters, off the bench. I don't expect him not to give him a good amount of minutes, especially if this game goes the way that they want it to. But it does it's interesting when evaluating if he does move down to the bench, Ariza, what they do with the Iguodala Ariza minutes, because if they're both coming off the bench, I think that makes it a little bit interesting. They both like to play, even though they're probably most likely threes. Spoelstra likes to go with them as smaller fours, so I think that's gonna be interesting minutes wise. But with Iguodala not being really interested in regular season anyways, I think it's, they'll figure out a way throughout the regular season.
But see, this is why I think maybe he keeps Ariza in the starting lineup for a couple. One, separate him from Iguodala, but also Bjelica has this sort of bond, as everyone who comes from Europe does, with Dragic. So maybe keeping the two of them together there with, I guess, Iguodala, perhaps Precious, coming off the bench would seem, I think, at the beginning to make a little bit more sense. Now, Kendrick Nunn is available, right? Is that correct? He made the trip. The ankle is not as bad as they expect. Oh, he's not available.
No, he's out.
Not available. Okay,
but he's still with the team.
That is why we're saying Gabe Vincent, but he is staying with the team, so perhaps he plays in the next game. Marco, to you on that. Does it make sense to keep Ariza? We're talking about him like, they got to keep the guy who's been here a while in the starting lineup. He's literally been here for 3 games. But like, does it make sense to keep him in the starting lineup, even if Bjelica acclimates himself?
I think so. As soon as Bjelica gets a couple games under him, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts. But I'm a big fan of the Ariza in the starting lineup. I think he's been surprisingly better than even I thought he was going to be. He has a lot of pep to his step that I didn't expect. His defense is still amazing. That 7'2" wingspan is legit 7'2". It bothers guys out there. But I like the idea of keeping Bjelica off the bench with Goran, and I've been hammering this point in some to the group chat. Shout out to Ron Rothstein's pool party about them running Spain pick and rolls with Precious and Nemanja. You need a guy that can pop out to that top of the key 3, and that's what Bjelica loves. You can run that play over and over with Goran coming downhill. Precious as the lob threat. You're gonna get a good shot out of that, and especially Precious, who plays really well with Goran and seemingly nobody else. So I like the idea of keeping them off the bench, even as soon as Bjelica gets a week or so under him.
I would say, though, the only counter to that would be, I don't know if they would trust him defensively off the bench with Goran and Tyler. At least you trust it a bit more if you could put him next to Jimmy and Bam and some other guys. But I think that makes it kind of interesting. If they want to at least stay above water on defense, then it'll make it interesting if they can't really switch heavily, with that group on the floor.
Oh, God, that group could be dreadful on the floor. Now I'm just thinking about that. I didn't sort of put all of that together, that they'd all have to play together. All right, let's look. I mean, Royal spelled it all wrong, but he had a good point here in the comments. How many it's not must-win games in a row have they had here? And I feel like in all the transaction talk, other than for Lamar,
it says
must-want games. So it's a must-want game for the Heat. I'm gonna throw that out there on Twitter. Thanks, Royal. Check out the post-up show after the game for more analysis like that. But basically, we're talking about transactions. This team has lost 6 straight games. Like, shouldn't they at some point? We talked about this on the pod last night, but like, shouldn't they at some point like beat somebody they're not supposed to beat? And tonight they're actually 4-point favorites in New York. I played it tonight over at my bookie and at BUSR. I spread it around tonight, and I actually liked their number giving 4 points. But don't they have? No, you didn't, Royal. Don't they have to win one of these games? Like, I feel like we just keep talking about who's coming. Overachieve one night, or at least beat a team you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about, a lot of guys constantly stepping up in these pregame shows. A guy like Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson maybe making shots. I think we're due for a game where Jimmy Butler just takes over. I think that's kind of what we're heading towards. Even though you're playing a New York team, even if you're playing any of these teams, I think that's just what this team needs. They need to get a win in the win column after this stretch. And even if it means beating a New York team, going down to the end and Jimmy Butler taking over, I think that this team needs that more than anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it tonight.
And it's an MSG, which we know, even without a full crowd there, that Jimmy likes to play there. He's had big games there typically. This one does come in here. And Ricky, if you're not going to be here to defend your Knicks, we're not going to read your comment. But I'll get to the Manscaped this week. But the other thing is this comes in. People are a little tired of Precious, right? They're a little tired of the free throw shooting. He addressed that today. Couldn't KZ get some minutes tonight? Go a little smaller?
I don't know he was available. Is he available?
Is he available? No. Oh, then that's why not. I guess I've been following the transaction talk. so KZ's still in the protocol. That's right. Okay, so no KZ.
But I'm still not even sure if he was playing, if they would go that route. I think it's a risk, especially with, we're mentioning, Bjelica coming in, that we don't really know what he is defensively. KZ, what he's defensively, but they still need length. I think that's what they missed a lot of the time. Even with Precious, they've lacked that length to try to, he's kind of getting swallowed up by bigger guys. They're just not, he's not matching up as well with these guys. So I think it'd be a risk, but I don't think it's something they haven't thought of.
Yeah, the other mention here from Anthony here, Mitchell Robinson out. By the way, that also plays into possible bigs that may end up somewhere, because the Knicks need a big, and they didn't get Gorgui Dieng, who we kind of thought that they might get because of the relationship with Tibbs. Ricky J. Mark likes the Knicks by 7 tonight. Julius Randle is questionable, correct? Do we have an update there? Anything from Tibbs?
Game time decision.
Or anything along those? All right, game time decision. All right, so let's go around here. Alejandro, I will let you start tonight. Ricky, get out of here. Alejandro, I will let you start tonight. Are you picking the Heat tonight? Julius Randle or no Julius Randle?
Yeah, they have to. That's 6 straight if they lose tonight against. And the Knicks are the 4th place in the East, so that it's a very important game actually. It's not just beating the Knicks as we usually do. It's also trying to get to the 4th place again. So yes, I'm picking the Heat.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the Heat tonight too, because I'm with you, Brady. I think Jimmy, we're due for one of those. I think, and he's had a day off. I would anticipate we'll get a better game. Yes, KZ is out. I appreciate that, guys. I totally forgot that. Marco, they win tonight?
I say yes. I especially like it after a practice. 2 days off, which they haven't had 3 months or something. I love teams. I love when Spo teams come out of practices. They always play really well, and I expect a good Jimmy game. I hope to see a big Bam game, considering they'll only be playing Nerlens Noel. So I think it should dominate, and I don't know. I win by 7. Sorry, Ricky.
Ben, if you're gonna mock me here by saying that I'm gonna say next to Okaro White is he available? At least get it right. It's not Okara. It's Okaro. Some respect to the man who brought the Heat a 13-game winning streak. Brady, you like him tonight?
Yeah, I do. Like I mentioned, I think Jimmy Butler is going to be a big piece of this. I think they're going to need him to kind of will them early. I think that's important. You can't let this game get away from you early like it did last time. And I think Tyler Hero will probably have a big one in the second half, because you mentioned Madison Square Garden. He likes to play up in these situations as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if he hit some big shots late.
Yeah, I think they get a win tonight. And again, I think it's going to be a Jimmy game. You mentioned the 2 days off. His numbers when he gets more than 1 day off, look him up for the past couple of years. They're excellent. His legs he just looks different. He gets more elevation. He's able to kind of sustain things into the fourth quarter. And there you go. But by the way, we are hearing that Randall's likely going to be active. So we'll see. We'll see on that. If he does that, changes things. Of course, he's better than Chris Bosh, right? He's better than Chris Bosh. That's what we heard about. All right. Thank you, Marco. Check out Know Your Enemy. Thank you, Alejandro. Alejandro will be at the Marlins opening day on Thursday. Thank you, Brady, as always. Takeaways and everything else, Brady's breakdown. I will be back on the pod with Alex after the game. Greg taking the night off. He hasn't been banished or anything like that. I don't want to be in my mentions. He'll be back with us tomorrow. He was with us yesterday. And then we'll get the post-game show with Royal spelling things wrong here on the post-up show, sponsored by Miami Grill, Vertigear, and all the rest of it. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to stay here, guys. We're going to listen to Erik Spoelstra's press conference right before tonight's game against the New York Knicks. So thank you for staying here with us for the Miami Heat pregame show. Let's go ahead and listen to Erik Spoelstra, and then we'll continue with Precious Achiuwa. All right, here we go.
Hey, Coach, we'll get started with Jason Jackson.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Jax.
Good. Question about, I've seen him twice already, but just how impressive is it when you're looking at the Knicks defense and in this short period of time, their move from middle of the pack or even at the bottom of the league in some things to just pure elite in this short period?
Yeah, I think that's a credit to Tibbs and the culture that he's brought to New York, and he's gotten a buy-in from everybody there that it's important and that it leads to winning habits. So, they're the third-ranked defense in the league. They make it tough. You have to execute with precision, with trust. You can't miss moments. And they're grinding, right now. They're winning a lot of games just because they keep them close, and they are able to make things tough on you. And, Randall is having a fantastic year, and guys are fitting into that system around Randall extremely well.
And how did Gordon feel this morning as you guys were getting ready?
He felt good. He was able to go through the full workout practice yesterday and was able to go through the shoot-around this morning. He's ready to go.
Next, we have Ira Winderman.
Eric, was there an MRI on Kendrick? Do we know what level grade sprain it is or what the timetable might be there?
We did not get an MRI. It's a sprained ankle. He's moving around, but he won't be available tonight.
Is he still with the team on the trip, or did he go back home?
Yeah, he's here with us.
Oh, he's still with you. Okay. Thank you, Eric.
All right, Coach, that's it. Thank you.
All right, that was it. That was a short one today from Erik Spoelstra. Let's now listen to the guys around. Watch also as well the shoot-around with our friend Ariel and Gadiel, our two friends that are always here, part of the Sky Forces comes up with us in the post-game show. So let's go and listen to their analysis for what's going to happen tonight at Madison Square Garden. So let's go ahead and listen to
the
them.
shoot-around. The Miami Heat have dropped 6 straight, losing their last game against the Charlotte Hornets. Tonight, they play against the New York Knicks. Huge game, honestly. This is one of the bigger games of the year. The Knicks are the 4 seed. The Heat are currently the 8 seed. They're 2 games ahead. We really can't afford to lose this game. But we do get Nemanja Bjelica in the fold for this game. Ariel, what can we expect from Bjelica in his first Heat game?
I think Bjelica is a little bit underrated in NBA circles. He's a really good shooter, has been just under 40% for the duration of his career. He's down this season under 30%, but I think a lot of that is attributed to, inconsistent playing time and not playing on a particularly good team. I would expect that to go up with the Heat. We've seen that before. I think he'll function similarly to how Kelly Olynyk functioned within the Heat's offense during last year's playoffs, in that he'll primarily be the sole big on the court. He might see some minutes with Bam, but I think he'll come off the bench, back up Bam, play about 13 to 15 minutes a night. And, they can run some dribble handoff stuff and through him. He can attack sloppy closeouts. He has some ball skills. So I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with what we get from Belly.
Yeah, I mean, Belly, if we can get similar production to what Kelly Olynyk gave us, who I know with his ups and his downs, who ended up being a good player for the Heat. He was one of the few contracts that worked out. But I do want to talk about the keys to this game, because this is a huge game, as I mentioned earlier. The Knicks are a really good defense, and it's honestly like looking in a mirror to the Heat. They're really not a great offense. They shoot the ball a little bit better from 3, but they slow the game down. They try to win the games pretty slow. I think the way that the Heat are going to need to win this game is we have Goran, Tyler, and Duncan healthy. I think 2 of those 3 are going to need to have good games, maybe like 15 plus. So if you can get 30 to 35, maybe 40 points out of that entire trio, I think you're in good shape. What are your keys to this game? And then give me a prediction on the game.
The Knicks foul a ton, and they don't give up the 3-point shot. So if I'm the Heat, I'm trying to get to the rim and attack the basket, draw fouls. Mitchell Robinson's going to be out. So I think that that's an area where the Heat can take advantage, and that'll help get their offense going. As for prediction, it's time for a win. I'm going with a Heat W. What about you?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a Heat W. Julius Randle, I believe, is going to be questionable, but we'll see what happens with him playing. We'll get more updates later on in the day. Hoping for a Heat W. I hope Bjelica has a good Heat debut, and hopefully we can get some momentum going into Victor Oladipo's debut. We'll see if he plays on Wednesday or maybe later on in the week, but let's root for Heat W and go Heat.
All right, that was the shoot around with our friends Gadiel and Ariel. They're always, as I said, in the post-up show right after the game, the post-game show here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel, brought to you by our friends from Vertigear. Go ahead and go check them out. And, of course, come here right after the game because we have the best Miami Heat post-game show that is out there. So let's go ahead and now talking about shoot-arounds, let's go ahead and now listen to Precious, who today, right after the shoot-around, he was nice enough to come and talk to the media that was present there. So let's go ahead and give him a little bit of showtime here in our YouTube channel. Yes, let's go with Precious. I think it's this one. Let me see real quick.
Hey, Coach, we'll get started
There's
with
Spoelstra.
Jason
Give me
Jackson.
a second. Sorry.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Quick, real quick. We did this one already, so let's go ahead. Let me look for the other one. I think it might be this one then. Let's
To get down by 30.
No, that's our friend Jimmy Butler. Well, all right, let's go and let's listen to Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo from the other night when they lost to the Charlotte Hornets. So let's go ahead and do that
Down
right
by
away.
30, and then that kind of hole so quickly.
Same thing that always happens.
Same thing.
Not taking anything away from the opposing teams. Not guarding, turning the ball over, fouling. They're definitely not making shots on the other end. Hurts us. Same story, different day, I guess.
You've pretty much been optimistic that there will be blips along the way, but that you still know how good you are and what you are. Does that change in the midst of a 6-game losing streak?
No, not at all. That's how the game goes. That's how the season goes. We understand that. We're going to be fine. It's got to play a little bit harder, a lot of bit harder, I should say, and a lot of bit smarter. But, you know, win streak just starts with a single game. Somebody said that before. Sometime.
And then since we didn't have a chance to talk to you yesterday, a couple of players you're bringing in that could change a lot of things. Can you give us your thoughts on Vic and then also your former teammate with the Timberwolves coming in to join?
I think both of those guys help us in the new.
Sorry about that one. A little bit of trouble here with the internet connection. Let me go back with the Jimmy Butler press conference a couple of nights ago. Actually, yeah, Friday night.
30, and then that kind.
There you go.
You know, Chris, like those guys, Mo. I'm gonna definitely miss those guys. I'm definitely staying in touch with those guys because I got a lot of respect because they was in the trenches with me. We went through the scene together, and now we're bringing in 2 other guys. And it's gonna be the same way.
Hey, Precious, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing good enough. I'm just curious, the way things have worked out between Chris and Kelly being traded, and I guess Myers being traded too, there's not as many big guys in the power rotation, which may put a little more impetus sort of on you. How are you sort of feeling about when you play against bigger players with your build? And do you sort of still feel like you're growing into your body, or do you feel like you can battle against the bigger centers in this league?
I think it's both. I think I'm definitely growing to my body, and also I think I could battle. Just with my quickness and my speed, I feel like I'm able to I have an edge over most big guys in this league. You know, a lot of big guys don't have the the quickness or the speed. So I try to use that to my advantage whenever I play bigger players.
Was there any point during the whole trade deadline process when you saw that Myers, I know he's injured, but when he was traded and then Kelly was traded and then Chris was traded, is that it's sort of getting very lonely in the power rotation? I mean, God bless Trevor and Andre, but they're sort of more 3-4s than 4-5s. I mean, did it sort of open your eyes that, hey, this team might be counting on me a heck of a lot more than even before?
I mean, at the end of the day, I felt like everything that happened, I had no control over, anything that, other stuff that happened a couple days ago.
Y después dijimos, quedó bien.
I have no control over that, the all that stuff. So at the end of the day, it's just coming out here, whenever I go out there, just be able to affect winning, play winning basketball, do whatever, my power, to put us in a position to win the game.
Have you added weight or bulk or muscle since you've been here? I know they're very high on sort of doing things like that. You could sort of, are there any tangible numbers or ways you can describe maybe the way you've resculpted your body in the short time you've been here? Thank you.
I mean, like you said, like we said earlier, and I'm growing into my body, and definitely I've seen improvement in my body. Just with the way I'm playing, and also just the physicality of the game. I've definitely seen improvement in my body, and it's still growing into it, and just day by day, just getting stronger, and you know, um, just filling out into my body, really.
All right, next we have Anthony Chang.
Hey, Precious. Obviously, in Memphis last year, you were used in a more featured role. I think you played over 30 minutes a game. This year, you're being asked to play more of an energy role. You're playing 3 or 4, minute bursts off the bench. What is that What have been the challenges, in that transition where you're kind of trying to play this new role, and how do you feel that process coming along?
I mean, it's like you said, last year I was playing 30, 35, whatever. Last year at Memphis. This year is a different level. And being in a program, that have championship aspirations, it takes a lot to be a young guy to come in and play that many minutes. It's something, especially if you have veteran guys that've had experience over the years and they've been here, coming out from a championship run. It's not easy, and for me at this point in my career as a rookie, is to come in whenever I come in and affect the game as much as I can. Just come, impact, win, and play with energy. Uplift everybody, just try to do as much as I can while I'm out there, to put us in a better position to win.
What's that mindset shift like though when you know you're gonna you're playing 10, 12 minutes a game, and when you're out there it might be a couple minutes at a time and you're trying just to empty the tank. I know coaches are asking you to empty the tank. What's that mindset shift like?
I mean, it's literally that. In college I play a lot of minutes like you said, and I go out there and I play hard, but it was more like a different mindset, different approach. And at this level, I got to come in and empty the tank. It's the same thing I did in college, But I just know I have a short amount of time to do that, and so I just come in here, play a lot of energy, empty the tank, do all the little things, block shots, run, set screens, whatever the case may be, just to put us in a better position, give my team the advantage.
Thanks, Precious.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll bring back Ira for another one.
Just one question, Precious, because I'm really curious about this. There was a game, I think, early in March against Atlanta. You went 6 of 7 from the line and everything was perfect. And since then, it's sort of been a little bit off. And I'm just wondering, is that something Coach Fodor is working with you on? And is there any particular reason, I guess? I mean, I'm not there at the line with you. I'm just kind of curious with the free throw shooting. Is that something you've spoken to the team about? Is that something disappointing to you? Or sort of what has changed?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I definitely want to get better at. I'm not excited with what my performance at the free throw line right now. I put in a lot of work into that, and definitely the result that I'm getting right now um, is not cannot be compared to the amount of work that I put into it. But it's just constant work. Just when I'm up there, just shoot the free throw with a lot less pressure, and just keep it playing, just keep playing. It's just another trip to the free throw line and not overthink anything.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Mateo Mayorga.
Hi, Precious. What similarities in coaching style have you found in Coach Spo that are similar to your coach last year at Memphis, Penny Hardaway? Thank you.
Just a sense of urgency. Penny showcase high sense of urgency. Some days, and that's the same thing here. And for me, it's just I'm able to read that, just because I play for Penny, There's some days he just came in, it's a different atmosphere, and depending on the magnitude of the game or whatever the case may be, they kind of like fuel the team to play a certain way, or if he wants us to do a certain ways, they're just able to like read the room and stuff like that. So there's a lot of similarities in that aspect, and with Coach Spo also he comes in. There's a certain sense of urgency that he comes in, into certain games with, and it's just easy to read the room and see what his mindset is at the time.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Precious.
Thank you.
All right, that was Precious Achiuwa today, right after the shoot-around they had before the game against the New York Knicks. So we do have the starting lineup for today. Goran Dragic jumps right back in the starting lineup. He's going to be along with Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Trevor Ariza, and Bam Adebayo. So Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Trevor Ariza, and Bam Adebayo. That's the starting five for tonight against the New York Knicks. The game should be starting here in about 20-25 minutes. So that's the starting five for Eric Spoelstra tonight. Let me read some of you guys' comments here. You guys have been debating about big guys and team rebounding and all that. Well, those three-point shots need to go to each time we shoot it, since Coach Spot don't like bigs. Rebounding is the glaring weakness on the team. We have a couple of weaknesses, but yes, rebounding is one of them. And yeah, that's the issue. The shots aren't going in. I never coach that loves playing small more than Spo. I've never seen a coach that loves playing small guys more than Spo. He most hate big men. Well, I don't think he hates big men. I just think with the guys that the Heat has, that's the best way they can play, I guess. I mean, it worked last year, so that's why he's still doing it. Guards got to throw themselves at the opposing bigs and get them in foul trouble. We have no other answers for opposing bigs. Thanks, our friend Sheriff. The biggest reason the rebounding sometimes is an issue is because of the zone defense and switch heavy defense, right? And then he says the whole league hates big men, my guy. We're in 2021, not 1992. Right. Yes, the league. I mean, the entire league has changed the way they play, and they also like the fast pace. They like taking shots. They like definitely several different things that we were used to back in the 90s. Look at the Lakers and Nets. Both picked up bigs. You can't coach size. Right. You can't coach size. But, I mean, when you're talking about the Lakers, you're talking about Anthony Davis. That's a very different big. He's a superstar. So I don't think the Nets are getting that in either Aldridge or Griffin. So it's different type of bigs there. I promise Jeff Green will play in center for the Nets in significant minutes. Bjelica has good ratings from playing the 5 in Sacramento. You think he'll take precious minutes this game? I don't think he'll probably take. They can't even play together because when Bam and Trevor Ariza are out, these two guys should be in. I mean, this is a starting lineup for some of you that were not here when we got here, when we got it. Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Trevor Ariza, and Bam Adebayo. So once Ariza and Adebayo go out, that should be the time for both Bjelica and Precious to come in. So I don't think that he's going to take minutes away. I mean, Precious has been struggling to get minutes anyway, so it's not because of Bjelica that's going to happen. Look at all the bigs the Lakers have. And then he mentions all of them. Gene Ramos says, but Pat always says no rebounds, no rings, and we don't have a real big. Well, some things to consider. I mean, the Miami Heat was expecting to get Aldridge. It just didn't happen. Gasol is garbage. Montreal is 6'7". Drummond sucks. AD is a perimeter player. AD 7 foot, and he hates playing center. I agree. Less 3-point shots and more rebounds on both ends. Heat weakness. Who's playing? Who's going guard Embiid, Drummond, and Joker in the paint? Well, we have to get there first. Spo has a reputation of not prioritizing big men and plays in par wide like Marcus Aldridge changed his mind. Air quotes. right? Bam will and our help defense will. LaMarcus Aldridge changed his mind because we were on a 6-game losing streak. I don't know, man. I think he got a call from maybe one of the guys there at Brooklyn and say, hey, you should come over here and win a championship. That's how that call probably went on. Bam needs help down low. Spo would have probably used LaMarcus Aldridge as a stretch big. That's probably why he went to Brooklyn. All right. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Tonight's a very important game. The Miami Heat are actually way behind the New York Knicks in the standings. Let me confirm here because the Knicks were in fourth place last time I checked. Yes, they're fourth. And the Miami Heat is, let me see how many games, 2 games behind the Knicks. So winning tonight will put them 1 game behind the Knicks. And if they lose, they will go back to 3 games behind fourth place. And that will extend their losing streak to 7 games already, which will be the worst of the season, which is right now so far. 6 games, this is their worst so far. So we'll see what happens. Remember, this is the starting lineup. Again, for all of you that are just getting here, it's a pregame show. Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Trevor Ariza, and Bam Adebayo. That's going to be our starting 5. Bjelica is available. Dragic is in the starting lineup, as you guys saw. And Oladipo is not available. Okpala is not available either. So those are your questions over there, and those are getting answered. So let me see. Look, Bobby, having fun. Losing streak didn't change his mind. It's utilization of prospects. Now that 6-game losing streak hurt our chances on signing LaMarcus Aldridge. He's a 35-year-old that is chasing a ring. Can you blame him? Yes, I can blame him because he told the Heat that he was coming. So yes, I can blame him. He's not playing. None is not playing tonight. He's not available. So that's another one of the guys that we have to take into consideration. He's not going to be available tonight. So expect Gabe Vincent taking a lot of those minutes for the Heat tonight. You think he didn't already know that's what I'm saying. I mean, he should have known what was going to come or what was going to happen if he came to Miami. So that's why I don't buy the 6-game losing streak as an excuse, because if the Miami Heat wins any of these 6 games and they lost that they should have won, they would have been a 23-23 team, just a regular 500 team, and that would have not been an excuse. So I don't think that's the reality of it. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us tonight. Remember, we're going to have the live score here as we usually do, and we're going to be back with you guys for the post-game show hosted by our friend Royal Shepherd. So thank you very much for joining me. Remember, we're always doing this an hour before the game, so you're welcome to come here, subscribe to our channel, have fun, and enjoy all the content that we are creating for you guys. Thank you very much once again for being with us, and we'll see you later tonight, hopefully right after a Miami Heat win. Have a good one.